SPLAT the Cat and the HOTSHOT, based on the creation of SCOTTON. In SPLAT the Cat and the HOTSHOT, there are 15 words that end in the "ot" sound. Can you find them? Here's a list of words to spot: apricots, got, lot, plot, Scott, dot, hot, mott, pot, shot, forgot, not, rot, spot. Let's get started. SPLAT was late for Cat Scouts. The troop met at 4 on the dot. SPLAT threw on his scout scarf. He tried to tie a knot as he shot out of the house. "SPLAT, you're here," said Mr. Mott, the troop leader. "We thought you forgot." "Meet our new scout, Scott," said Mr. Mott. Scott looked like one cool cat. "SPLAT, I can help you with your knot," said Scott. Scott tied SPLAT's knot perfectly. "Thanks, Scott," said SPLAT. In fact, Scott could tie a lot of knots. SPLAT could not. The scouts worked on fire building. Scott's fire was good and hot. SPLAT's was not. SPLAT wished he had Scott's scout skills. "Okay, Scouts," said Mr. Mott. "Tomorrow is our big hike. Let's plot it out on a map." "I've hiked this trail a lot," said Scott. "This is a great spot." Back at home, SPLAT said, "Mom, there's a new scout. He's very cool. His name is Scott. He helped me with my knots. I think he's a hotshot." SPLAT smiled. "I cannot wait to hike with Scott," he said. The next day, SPLAT got ready. What would Scott bring? He said. SPLAT did not know, so he packed a lot. When the scouts set off on the hike, SPLAT walked right behind Scott. Soon it was time to stop for lunch. The scouts got wood for a campfire. Some scouts got twigs. Some scouts got rocks. "I brought soup," said Mr. Mott. "Have you got the cook pot, Scott?" Scott looked in his pack. "Oops," said Scott. "I forgot." The other scouts moaned. "We can't eat soup without a pot to make it hot," said Plank. SPLAT stepped forward. "I brought a pot," he said. "I also brought some apricots. We can eat them while the soup gets hot." "Well done, SPLAT," said Mr. Mott. On the hike back, Scott led the way across a log bridge. SPLAT trotted along behind him. With each step, the log shook a lot, and there was a slippery spot where it was starting to rot. SPLAT saw it, but Scott did not. He was busy with some bugs. "Swat! Look out, Scott," said SPLAT. It was too late. Scott fell into the mud. Everyone tried to help Scott out, but they could not reach far enough. Luckily, SPLAT had a rope. He tossed one end right to Scott. "Good shot, SPLAT," said Scott. SPLAT tugged on the rope. He pulled with all his might. The rope started to move. Scott went up and SPLAT went down. SPLAT didn't mind the mud. He had helped Scott. The scouts rinsed them off. "Thanks, Splat," said Scott. "I wish I was as prepared as you." "Great teamwork, Scouts," said Mr. Mott. "And Splat, you are one prepared Cat Scout. All the things you brought really hit the spot. Why don't you lead us home?" And Splat did. When Splat meets the new Cat Scout, he's in awe of everything Scott can do. But in the end, Splat learns to appreciate his own talents and the power of teamwork.
Splat the Cat and the Quick Chicks. Splat's class had class pets. 12 chicken eggs. Very soon they would hatch. Then they would be chicks. Mrs. Wimpy Dimple asked, "Would someone take the eggs home to watch tonight?" Quick as a wink, every paw flew up. "We'll pick sticks," Mrs. Wimpy Dimple said. "Whoever picks the longest stick takes home the chicks." One by one, every cat picked a stick. Clank picked a long stick. Kitten picked a longer stick. Splat picked the longest stick of all. Hooray! Mrs. Wimpy Dimple helped Splat get the eggs packed up. "Just keep an eye on them and keep them warm," said Mrs. Wimpy Dimple. "That will do the trick." Splat carried the eggs home, slowly and carefully. No skips, no kicks, no quick, sudden moves along the way. Splat made the chicks a cozy nest in his drawer. At bedtime, Splat said, "Good night, chicks," and turned out the light. Click! Early the next morning, Splat woke with a start. He felt a peck on his ear. He felt a tickle on his foot. Splat looked in the nest. The eggs had hatched. The chicks were out and about. 2 chicks were on Splat, but where were the rest? Cheep, cheep! Splat's ears pricked up. He followed the sound. He found 2 chicks in his thick, warm socks. Splat found 2 more chicks snuggled up to the clock. Tick, tick, tick. Splat looked in his toy corner. There was a chick in a truck. There was a chick in Splat's magic trick box. One chick was sitting in the paint box. Ick! And there were 2 chicks in the house made of snap-together bricks. Splat had found 11 chicks, but 1 was still missing. Splat was worried sick. Then Splat heard a pick, peck, pick. He turned around in the nick of time. There was the last chick. It picked and pecked at the basket. Then it hopped away. The other chicks went with it. "Stop, chicks," said Splat. Splat chased chicks up and chased chicks down. Chicks fell in, but chicks hopped out. Wet feathers drip, drip, dripped. Splat stepped into a puddle. Splat! The chicks stood all over Splat. "We better get to school before you run away again," said Splat. Splat led the way. The chicks followed each move. With skips and kicks, the good little chicks got to school lickety-split. Splat's class was so surprised. Instead of 12 eggs, now they were 11 chicks, said Mrs. Wimpy Dimple. Splat, where is the missing chick? Oh no, thought Splat. But before he could get worried sick, Splat heard a cheep. Cheep, cheep. Phew, said Splat. These chicks are quick. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and leave a like. Bye bye!